The river ran fast that afternoon, swollen and muddy from the storm that had raged all night. The air was thick with the smell of rain and damp earth, and the sky was a blanket of heavy gray. By the old bridge, a man named Milan sat quietly on the bank, his eyes fixed on the powerful current. In his small village, Milan was known for his calm strength. 10 years ago, a factory accident had taken both his arms, but it had never taken his spirit. He taught himself to fish with his feet, to write with his toes, and to lend a hand, or rather, a foot, to his neighbors whenever he could. People looked up to him, but their respect was often mixed with pity, and he despised that feeling. Suddenly, a piercing scream cut through the air. Milan whipped his head around. A small boy, no older than 8, was flailing desperately in the middle of the river. The current had him in its grip, pulling him toward the deep, cold center. On the shore, his mother stood frozen, her voice cracking as she screamed his name. Without a second thought, Milan kicked off his shoes and plunged into the icy water. The shock of the cold was immense, but he powered through it with strong, practiced kicks. He had known this river his whole life, before the accident and after. He understood its moods, its pull, its hidden dangers. He reached the boy just as his head slipped beneath the surface. With no arms to grab him, Milan twisted his body, clamping the boy's shirt between his shoulder and neck. He held the child tight against his chest, using his powerful legs to fight the current and keep them both afloat. The river was a relentless force, trying to drag them under. Milan's lungs burned, and every muscle in his body screamed in protest. But he kept kicking, inch by inch, fighting his way toward the shallows. Finally, his feet touched mud and stones. With one last surge of strength, he used his legs to push the boy up onto the riverbank. The child coughed, gasped for air, and then burst into tears as his mother rushed to embrace him. Milan lay in the shallow water, utterly exhausted, his chest heaving. He couldn't wipe the mud from his face or even lift his head. But when the boy, still sobbing but safe, looked back at him, Milan managed a faint smile. Later, the story spread through the village like wildfire. Some couldn't believe it. How could a man with no arms save a drowning child? But for those who witnessed it, the image was unforgettable. A man who had lost so much, giving everything he had left to save a life. From that day on, when people spoke of Milan, they no longer talked about what he had lost. They talked about what he had done. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel for more inspiring content. See you next time.